Hello everyone, my name is Xu Xiaonan. I come from Beijing, China. I'm so happy to see you on the World Accordion Day. Today, I would like to share with you some of my experience during Coupe Mondiale and what I am doing now. It was in the category Coupe Mondiale that I won the first prize in 2012 in Spoleto, Italy. What a beautiful city it is. It deserves to be mentioned that at that time I was the first Chinese champion during the 75-year history of the competition since it was launched in 1938. It was one of the best memories of my competition life. After the competition, I continued my study in Beijing. In 2016, I graduated from the Central Conservatory of Music, and then I stayed there to be a teacher. My teaching career began. Besides teaching, I'm also very keen on composing music, especially for accordion. In recent years, I have created more than 10 pieces for accordion solo, ensemble or chamber music as well, some of which are loved by audiences at home and abroad. Of course, performance is my favorite. It is worth mentioning that my wife, an outstanding pianist, and I have set up a chamber music program. We are just now on a new music journey. The video you will see is a piece that I composed in 2018, which is dedicated to my wife. I hope you would like it. In addition, in 2018, I continued to pursue my doctoral degree at the Central Conservatory of Music, which is the first accordion doctoral degree in China, under the guidance of Professor Cao Xiaoqing. I will continue to work hard to bring you beautiful accordion works. At present, I am creating my first sonata, dedicated to the heroes in China and all over the world during this special time. It looks forward to meeting you soon. Thank you.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the World Accordion Day project. It was opened by an incredible message and composition by Zhu Xiaonan, the first Chinese Coupe Mondiale champion in 2012. I'd now like to introduce my co-host, past CIA President and the CIA Ambassador, Kevin Frederick.
Thank you, Grayson. Welcome to the second episode of our World Accordion Day project series. World Accordion Day is a CIA initiative which we have been promoting since 2009. Our first episode aired on the 6th of May, marking the day when Cyril Domain and his sons filed the first patent for the accordion in Austria. We had the privilege of hearing from our members in China, Portugal, and the Czech Republic, as well as welcoming special guests, the Motion Trio, who gave us that amazing world premiere of the work Helicopter from their upcoming CD. In addition, it was inspiring to hear the thoughtful messages and performances from each of our current Coupe Mondiale champions. Our web series will showcase the accordion in a variety of genres, promote the activities of our member associations, celebrate our Coupe Mondiale champions, composers, academic institutions, and showcase various CIA initiatives. I'll now pass you back to Grayson, who will introduce the next video.
Before we have our first guests of the evening, we'll hear from another one of our Coupe Mondiale winners. He is a multiple champion in 2 genres, winning the Junior Virtuoso in Shanghai 2011 and the Digital Accordion Championship in 2014 in Austria. From Germany, Matthias Maske.
Happy World Accordion Day! My name is Matthias Matzke from Germany, and I won the Coupe Mondiale in Junior Variety in 2011 in Shanghai and in 2014 in the Digital Accordion category. Musically, I love the crossover genre, so I play a lot of classical music and a lot of jazz, but I try to experiment with the accordion in all kinds of styles from heavy metal to modern jazz. And currently I've been working on beginner stuff for this tiny accordion because I'm really convinced that the accordion is a pretty cool instrument. And well, sometimes it's ironically the accordion people who say the accordion seems to have an outdated image, but I've been working with producers in the pop industry and soundtrack, and the accordion is so liked all over the world. So be proud to play the accordion and have fun. If you want to check out my stuff, go to matthias-matzke.com or enter my name on YouTube and you'll find stuff from classical soprano and accordion until accordion with rock bands. Enjoy!
Welcome back. Our first guest today represents our CIA Premier member from Germany, the home to one of the oldest accordion organizations in the world. The Deutsche Harmonikaverband was formed in 1931 and just a few years later was one of the 3 original founding members of the CIA. They'll soon be celebrating their 90th anniversary, so as you can imagine, they have an incredible history of accordion excellence. Today, we're delighted to be joined by the DHV First Vice President, George Hetman, Andreas Nabel, who serves as a member of the CIA Music Committee, and Bernard van Amsek, the new CEO of the Hohner Conservatory in Trossingen. First, we'd like to welcome George, who will share with us some information about the DHV. Welcome, George.
Hello, everybody. I'm glad to be a part of this live stream. So, yeah, let me perhaps introduce a little bit our organization. If you like to hear from DHV, DHV is organized in 16 states. As you know, perhaps Germany is a federal state system, and we have all educational and cultural activity is hosted by these 16 states. But there is also a federal organization, and also DHV is divided in these 16 states, and they take care about educational and cultural activities, which nearly are organized similar, but each state has its executional way, I would say, to give support to the culture and to the accordion and to accordion associations. The federal board of DHV consists out of members out of the state boards, and we aim to have a wide range to state representatives in the federal board in order to cover all the different influences of these different state cultural policies. President of the DHV is Jochen Hausmann. He comes from Baden-Württemberg. And since March, we have a new CEO, Johannes Wollasch, which joined us in 1st of March. So this is, in short steps, our organizational structure. And we, for the members, we have about, say, 80,000 members in Germany, which make part of the DHV organization. And membership is possible as an organization, as an orchestra, as an ensemble. And you can also be a member, a single member or a supporter of DHV. In total, I said we count about 80,000 members, single members, yeah, in our organization, which are actives on the accordion or are single supporters, which means also that we count about 2,500 orchestras and ensembles in Germany. And the most of them are situated in the southern parts of Germany, say Baden-Württemberg, Bayern, Hessen, or in the western parts, Rhineland-Pfalz. Yeah, this is the most orchestra activities are situated in these regions. So, and if I come to the activities from DHV, we have in all these 16 states, we have 11 state representational orchestras, youth and senior class, which build a platform for development of educational aspects. Future conductors or ensemble leaders come out of these orchestras. Or they creating literature for accordion orchestra, world premieres or new contemporary compositions. Since 10 years, we have additionally founded a federal accordion orchestra, which is under the musical and organizational guidance from Stefan Hippe, you know perhaps. They celebrated their 10th anniversary this year and presented a lot of compositions for accordion orchestra world premieres. They have yearly project phases alternating the conductor and searching for new compositions. And next year, Ian Watson from the London Accordion Orchestra will be the conductor of this yearly project. This is our next project in orchestra. Then in Baden-Württemberg, Bavaria, and Brandenburg, we organize yearly seminars around different topics in practicing accordion music, like conducting, presenting new literature for accordion ensembles and orchestra, or preparation courses for competitions. And the biggest events we organize in a federal context are a national competition, which will be also next year. It's called the Accordion Musikpreis, and it's a two-phase competition. First phase is a selection out of the 16 states, which I explained, and the second phase is then a final competition of the selected participants from all states. And our biggest event and biggest festival I come to speak is the International or World Music Festival in Innsbruck, which happened also in 2019, with about 180 orchestras and ensembles from 14 countries and a total of 3,500 active participants. So this is really a big thing, and it's really over the years, it's the 14th edition now, which we plan. So happening all 3 years, and we are very happy to have this platform for orchestras and ensembles for the whole international world. And we see that the interest of international accordion orchestras and ensembles is getting more and more. So it's not only, as it was in the past, more a festival of Austria, Germany, and Switzerland, perhaps also Netherlands. They make or they participate with most of their orchestras, but there are much more coming from other countries now, and we see that the festival is growing and growing. And,
absolutely. I'll quickly pop in and just say to the people who have been to the festival, it's amazing, and you don't realize how many people take part until the final event, where you fill the stadium for the prize giving, and it's an Olympic-sized stadium, isn't it? And everyone's waiting to get called to go to the stage to get their prize.
The atmosphere in the stadium is exceptionally.
So we have a video that you sent from one of the winners. This is the Humi Accordion Band from Poland, who won first place in the mixed instrumental orchestra youth at concert level.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome back, everyone. We're now joined by our two additional guests. We have our music committee member from the CIA, Andreas Nabel, and also the CEO of the Hohner Conservatorium, Bernard van Amslik. Welcome to the show. So
Thank
maybe
you.
to get started, we'd like to ask Andreas and Bernard to share a little bit about the programs of study at the Hohner Conservatory.
Okay, thank you very much, Kevin, for inviting us. Hello from Germany. It's at the Hohner Conservatory, you can study mainly two different kinds of accordion playing. It's the traditional way of accordion playing and the popular way of accordion playing. So it means in both studies you have the normal stuff you need for being a good accordion player, but then you have some you can develop yourself as a traditional accordion player with avant-garde music, with the traditional music, with the transcriptions, and on the other side you can decide to play the popular way: jazz music, popular music, folk music. These are the subjects of the second student. Yes, and in all of our studies, you have also it's a very main important issue to conduct accordion orchestras, and that's very special here in Trossingen at the Hohner Conservatory. Also, the conducting of accordion orchestras. Andreas.
So we have very often a situation that students come to Trossingen and they want to study accordion, but they don't know exactly which type of music they love, because they want to learn accordion, but it's not clear which composer, which style. And so we can offer them the opportunity to develop themselves in different styles, and during the studies they find their own way. Some end with Bach, and some with contemporary music, and a lot of them with Frank Morocco. And so this is, I think it's a very positive sign, or a very positive circumstance of our school, that we can then guide them very individually, and we have the teachers here to help them to find their own music.
Absolutely. So let's have a listen. I think really a wonderful example of what you're explaining and describing to us. Could you expand a little bit more on how you provide this opportunity, especially to change genres for students at the conservatory?
Yes, Felix is a very good example for our students because I think he was in Salzburg at the Coupe Mondiale. He played, I think, in the second round, these pieces too. And Felix came here a few years ago, and he was introduced for classic music and for jazz. And at the end, he was more interested for jazz and more interested for classic. So now he continues in Mainz, in Germany, with jazz piano.
Oh, wow.
So he grew very good. And for example, I made with him the Goldberg variations, the aria and about ornaments and about improvising in harmony. And then he took a jazz piece, and we made very similar things. You know, that's about harmony and improvisation in the Baroque music, and with him was very, very great because he feels what is important, playing in harmony, playing what is an improvisation. But sure, in the style was very important, but he was very free and he was so open to develop this. About the method, yes, with him, I made a lot of classical music because he was very, how to say, he developed his own jazz band. He made each week he had a rehearsal, so he tried a lot with them. He made his own arrangements, and I said yes, make this. But he was very very strong there. But with him, I made a lot of classical music and some transcriptions too, but not from accordion players, but from Miles Davis and from John Coltrane. So he was very, very interested in this, also in Frank Morocco, all this accordion players, but he is a very open-minded boy. And so and my job was to help him to develop this openness, to find a more rich world in music. And now he does. I think it was maybe the most important thing, not to give him some solutions, but to help him to develop and to grow.
Yes.
That's
I
fantastic.
think, sorry, I think the important thing is people, when they come to the conservatory, they're very young. They're about 18 years old, 17, 18 years old. And the only thing they love is the instrument, playing the instrument. And here they go into the music, into the different styles, and they can they can learn about the world of accordion music, about the world of music in totally, yeah? And that's the difference here.
So it's not only now classical and jazz accordion, you also have opened up a new class, I believe.
Yes. Now in September we start with, because the Hohner Conservatory is a conservatory for all harmonica instruments. It's not only about accordion, it's also about harmonica, Mundharmonika we call it, but it's also about Steirische Harmonika, the instruments of the folk music. And in September we will start with Alexander Maurer. He's a very, very special teacher for this instrument. He loves also different styles. He plays also jazz styles on his folk music instruments, and he plays the traditional stuff. So the Alpenländische music, what you think about when you think about Oktoberfest and these things. He's also playing this, but also classical music, popular music, different styles.
So we have a perfect example of this
Okay.
right now.
Hey, welcome back. And maybe before we talk to George again, while we have Andreas and Bernard with us, how are you handling the teaching courses at the moment during the COVID-19 times?
Yes, like many of the colleagues, we started to make online lessons with Skype and Zoom, and yes, we discussed a lot how to create this, how to make this use these tools. But we discussed about the problems. But when I when I had the lessons with the students, they were very relaxed. They had no problem. They take it as a challenge to have these lessons, and really always they are very in a good mind, and they need also this lesson every week as a point to practice. But in how to say, in the atmosphere until now, it was very positive in my experience.
Yes.
But next week I will start with the presence, with normal lessons, and I'm looking forward to give lessons in our school, in our conservatory, because the real sound, the real dynamic is truly different, and it's the reality is the reality, and it's only a bridge, let's say a bridge. But it was a very good experience, because maybe in future we can use this more. We have more tools to create our offers, our lessons, to create lessons with the students. So hopefully we will come back to the normal life. But in sense of teaching, I think it's a good experience now to have more tools for the future. So
yes.
Great. Well, we wish you all the best as you get back to the live teaching in a couple of weeks.
Thank you.
And George, maybe now you'd like to tell us.
So the organizational things are ongoing there. We already have reserved our locations. So the date is, as you already mentioned, is the 12th to 16th October next year. It's good behind after the Oktoberfest. If Oktoberfest is happening next year, I believe yes, but this year it was cancelled for the reasons we heard. So 12th until 16th October in Munich. It will be in the center of the city, near the central station. There is a location which is called Kolpinghaus, München Zentral. It's a bigger, I would say, for as an academy, or how would you call it? It's a bigger house, and it has a big location for competition rooms and all things we need. And the most important, what I said, was also that they have a restaurant inside. So we can also have all the accommodation for the competition in one house, and we have short ways we need not to spread out and search for some food. So yeah, it will be a good location for the competition. And we plan to have an opening concert and a final concert externally. And the first location is in the residence of Munich. It's called Allerheiligen Hofkirche, an old church which is used as concert hall. And the final session will be in the School of Music and Theatre, in the High School of Music and Theatre of Munich. They have also a big saal, a big hall to have a final concert in there. So, and the hotels will be also in this section in the near the central station, so that for coming to Munich, you need to go to the airport, and from the airport to the center of the city, and that's all. It's not very complicated, it's good equipped, and you have short ways. This was the reason why we put it into into the center. And I invite all which will join our Coupe Mondiale in Munich for 21. And DHV is also celebrating its 90th anniversary. You heard at the beginning also.
Great. Well, before we play our final video, we'd like to say thank you very much to George and also our special guests, Andreas and Bernard, for joining us to share all these wonderful activities in Germany. We wish you all the best as you prepare for this Gala 90th anniversary celebration. And we look forward to seeing you all in Munich at our 74th Coupe Mondiale from the 12th to the 16th of October in 2021. So thank you, gentlemen, for joining us. And now I think to finish up the segment from our friends here in Germany, we'd like to share a video with you with our music committee member, Andreas, and his lovely wife, Naoko, who plays the harmonica. And I think we've talked about the harmonica in some of the studies at the conservatory. So this is a rather fitting video to join our farewell with. So thank you again, and we'll enjoy the video.
Thanks to you. Bye-bye.
Before we invite our next guests, we'll have another performance from a past Coupe Mondiale champion, this time from Italy, winner of the Junior Virtuoso 2015. Now, a lot of the time, the music in Coupe Mondiale is very serious, but every now and then a contestant manages to have an incredible amount of fun and play with the audience. This is Valerio Russo performing Fisarmonica and Basita by Gurini Nabini, arrangement by Renzo Ruggieri.
Hello, I'm Valerio Russo from Italy. I won Coupe Mondiale in 2015 in Turku, Finland, in the Junior Virtuoso category. This experience was very encouraging, so since that moment I recorded my first album entitled Accordion Puzzle. In 2017, with another accordionist, Andrea Di Giacomo, we founded a virtuosity duo. I had many concerts in various festivals in Italy and in the world, such as the Accordion Art Festival, PIF in Castelfidardo, St. Petersburg Accordion Festival in Russia, and many others. At the end, I have been studying classic accordion in Santa Cecilia Conservatory in Rome since 2018.
Welcome back. So we just heard about the upcoming DHV 90th year celebration. So now we're joined by our Dutch CIA member, the Nederlandse Organisatie voor Accordeon en Mundharmonica, or NOVAM, who have already celebrated their 90th anniversary. Representing NOVAM today are Vincent van Amsterdam, and a little later in the segment, Rick Cornelissen. So Vincent, maybe you'd like to share us a little bit about the activities in the Netherlands.
Yes, hello, good morning. Thank you for hosting us. Indeed, the NOVAM 2 years ago had its 90th anniversary with a big concert with all of the top players of the Netherlands, plus a lot of orchestras, and everybody could join for this festival day. So, and with over 1,000 people in the hall, so it was a good day. Yes. So the NOVAM is already 90 years old, and we have about 2,000 members with 100 orchestras also, and also some, of course, some independent members in the country and orchestras. Every year the membership fluctuates a bit, but it's going well. And also every year there's some fixed activities like the solist and chamber music competition. It was supposed to be in March last month, but it was cancelled, but rescheduled as a digital competition this time. So all the jury members last week had a similar Zoom meeting to discuss all the entries and to declare a winner. I think tomorrow or Monday it will go public. So I keep it a secret who is the winner of each category. But it was good fun and good to have to keep it going even in these strange times. So it's nice. I think there's also the orchestra competition every year. It's scheduled for next month, and rescheduled for October, but I don't know 100% sure if it's still in the air, if it's continuing, or that it is postponed till next year. But every year like 30 orchestras come together and play in different categories, or just in the festival class, just for fun and for a nice beer with the other orchestras. So yeah.
We hear that you had your 90-year celebration. Could you tell us a bit about that festival?
Yeah, so we decided to have one big day of music. So in the month before, there were a few orchestras who, in different levels. So really a youth orchestra and some more semi-professional orchestras, and they rehearsed in the month before. And this in the evening of last year, November, 3 hours of music. So everybody played like 10 or 15 minutes, and there is a nice registration of this. I think most of it is on YouTube, but I managed to have a compilation of 30 seconds of each entry, or at least most of the entries. And it goes from more folk music, klezmer kind of music, more improvisation, jazz influences, but we also did Friedemann Bach concerto, and more the traditional, I mean the originally written orchestral music for accordion orchestra. So from big to small settings. So maybe
let's have a look at the compilation.
Yeah, let's see the compilation. Yeah.
I have to say, a very, very impressive concert.
Yeah, thank you, thank you.
So how was the repertoire and program adapting for you in the Netherlands, the accordion, for original works?
Yes, it's going on well, but yeah, every accordionist has their own connections with a few composers, and it's great work in progress. Also, from the Novum itself, we made a couple of years ago a new selection of chamber music, specially tailored to children or young musicians. And yeah, myself, for example, yeah, has worked with multiple composers in the last few years. Young and upcoming composers like Bianca Bongers or Heather Pinkham, but also more renowned composers, at least in the Netherlands, Daan Manneke. He is, I think he's sometimes a bit compared to like the Dutch Arvo Pärt. He's called the composer of space and atmosphere. And also with Willem Jetz, he was a couple of years. He was yeah, crowned the composers of the Netherlands for 2 years. It was an honorary title, and it was great working with him on a new concerto what premiered last year. And yeah, just last fall, I had a great collaboration with Christian Richter. It's yeah, it's and it was one of the most profound pieces for me personally, because first of all, the length. He composed one section of music 30 minutes long without parts or just continuing a flow, and also the way he used the instrument, and he yeah, that's the sign of a really good composer, that he works with you and he said maybe this, maybe that, maybe this, and he can understand, he wants to understand why some things work and something doesn't work, or yeah, just you have only 10 fingers. Oh yeah, that's maybe a limitation. So things like this. Yeah.
So
sometimes.
you seem to have a great deal of collaboration with chamber music, with other instruments and orchestras and things like this. So we have a video of you playing an extract from this concerto, I believe.
Yeah, exactly. And just to clarify, I'm not alone in this party. You have the accordion duo Tuak. I think they were also in Casa Fedora and Coupe Mondiale a few times.
So they have 20 fingers between them, so that's
exactly. So that's better. But they have multiple collaborations in the past and in the future coming up. They made a brilliant like two-part first of the Mussorgsky pictures, and then they asked to be written a new piece also with pictures, but then of Mondriaan, the Dutch painter. So that was it's like few years back. It was great collaboration. So they have brilliant ideas always, and so everybody has their own.
Cool. Yeah, very good.
Brilliant.
So,
but yeah, like you said, Willem Jets. That's the next movie. That was today, I think, a year ago, or this week a year ago. A new concerto by Willem Jets. It's about 20 and a bit minutes long with string orchestra. Yeah,
great
atmosphere and great vibe, and just listen. It's the first 5 minutes roughly of this concerto.
Okay. Welcome back. Vincent, could you please introduce our new guest?
Yes, I'm very happy that Rick Cornelissen is joining me. He's the head professor of the jazz accordion division in the Arnhem Conservatory, and yeah, that's also happening in Holland. So I thought it was nice to invite him.
Absolutely. So,
yeah,
could you please talk with us about the type of pedagogy or how the jazz school works for the accordion?
Yeah. Hello. Welcome, everybody. Good morning from Holland. Yeah. So playing jazz and studying jazz is quite different, I guess, than studying classical music. In a way that I think, like studying classical music, you work mostly on pieces that are technically very difficult, and it takes a lot of effort to master such a piece. The average jazz tune isn't that hard to play. You know, a good sight reader plays it instantly. Most of the time. So that's not the difficulty. The difficulty is to phrase it in a way that it functions with a band, so that you know to listen to a drummer, to a bass player, that you adjust when a groove adjusts, that if you hear a soloist playing and you are comping, that you know how to adjust the chords in a way that it functions, or on purpose clashes with a soloist to force someone a certain direction. And so it's a lot about communication, it's a lot about flexibility. As an improviser, you're working, so listening is a big part of it. There's not much written, so it's about listening to what the others around you are doing and react on it. As an improviser, the tone you play has a certain relation to everything that happens. So it's I guess more working with the ears than working with your mind sometimes. So that's a totally different approach to being there on stage. So I guess...
Sorry to interrupt, but for our viewers, so this is the University of Arts, and it's one of the few places that does have jazz with accordion in the Netherlands.
Yeah, I teach at ATES, University of Arts. That's a collaboration of 3 conservatories, or a fusion of 3 conservatories, I have to say. We also have a classical accordion department. Stanislav Yusufovic is my colleague over there. And there are collaborations between the classical and the jazz department, obviously. But the jazz department, the jazz and pop, I have to say, it's broader than only jazz, is a department on itself with an own program, and I'm the teacher over there. I guess in the studies, the biggest difference is that from the first moment you start to study jazz, ensemble playing, band playing is very, very important. So the primary focus is on band playing instead of solo playing, what for classical musicians is more leading, I guess. So on ATES, you're starting in I think 2 bands from the beginning, and it swaps. There's a relating system. So one band is about pop, and the other one about Latin, and the other one about jazz or free jazz or fusion, or all kinds of fixed programs, or sometimes it changes every year. So if a teacher comes up with a new great idea for jazz, for a band, then it will be an option for students. And yeah.
So you're always having the possibility to play with different instruments and never the same kind of formations, always adjusting for the genre and things like this.
Exactly. Yeah. And like the further you come in the program, so from the third year on, or maybe from 2 already, then you are heading more and more to your own direction. So it's like a personal vision of a young musician is already very important, and we try to support that as much as possible. So he or she will become not a copy of a good improviser, but a good improviser for him or herself. Yeah,
that's fantastic. So, Vincent, I understand at the moment it's a horrible time with the coronavirus, and you had a huge summer courses planned.
Yes. That's very unfortunately, but. Yeah, in the past, when I was a student, I had so much. It was so great to have these summer courses. I started with Jacques Mornet in France, and I went a few times to Kragujevac in Serbia, and met all these wonderful professors. And I thought that's not the case in the Netherlands at the moment. So I organized one for this summer, and I invited. The brilliant Yuri Shishkin to join me in the teachers team.
Yeah.
And also there was a lot of sponsors. The Novum was of course a sponsor, but also the Conservatory of Tilburg, where I am affiliated with, was also a sponsor. But yeah, it's too difficult to build this in this time. So we're in the process of postponing it till next summer. The date will be hopefully in the coming weeks will be set. But so we made the program just that everybody has a lesson every day with either Yuri or myself, and also every day we start with warm up or some more technical stuff. It also depends on the level and in the interest of the applicants, of the students. So so see you next year, hopefully, everybody.
Yeah, please share the news when you have the new dates for the summer courses.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So before you leave us, we'd like to play another video, this time of Rick. And it's from his album, I forgot the name of the album, Dream? Tip of my tongue.
The album is Dreamscape.
Dreamscape, that was it. I was just there.
Yeah. Shall I explain a little bit about the video in the group, maybe?
Yes, please, absolutely.
So it's a group, it's called Trivet. It's a trio with a vibraphone player, Vincent Houdijk, and double bass player Maciek Domaracki, and myself. So what we do is we relate everything what we do to the universe. We compose our own music, myself mostly, and also compositions of Vincent Houdijk, the five player. And we did a huge project last year where we collaborated with lecturers from ESA, the European Space Organization, and different universities of Holland, where astronomy is taught. So we combined lectures based on my compositions, and I wrote a new composition, Sound of Interstellar Space, which was based on sounds from NASA and ESA captured out of in interstellar space. So that was the fundament, and I wrote a 30-minute composition based on that, which was quite cool. to do and to perform. And we just finished the tour through Holland before the Corona outbreak. So that was very fortunate for us, of course. And the video fragment you will hear, it's a tune called there's a spider on my camera, so it's gone. Sorry. And it's a tune called Gravity, which I wrote a few years ago, and we performed it live on national television 1.5 years ago, I think. Yeah.
So thank you both for joining us on our celebrations. Yeah. Congratulations on Novum's 90th anniversary, and of course, hopefully many, many more years. And here is the video Gravity from Dreamscapes.
Thank you for having us, Grayson, Kevin. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Great morning. Welcome back, everybody. For our next guest, we'll have another performance of a Coupe Mondiale champion, this time a winner of the Junior Virtuoso in 2004 in Austria, Jean-Baptiste Baudin, performing Wave at the Berlin Philharmonic Chamber Music Room.
Hi everybody, my name is Jean-Baptiste Baudin. I am 24 years old and I am a French accordionist. I won the World Accordion Cup in 2014 in Salzburg, Austria. I also won the World Accordion Trophy, the international competition of Klingenthal, and others accordion competition. Actually, I'm studying in Lausanne University of Music, where I study classical music and jazz also. I'm also a teacher of accordion, and most of my time I spend to play, to give concerts around the world, especially concert of jazz music. I play with some trio, or I play also solo concerts, but I also like to play Baroque music. So I wish you a very nice World Accordion Day. Cheers!
And welcome back. Our next guest is Professor Geir Dragsvold from the Royal Danish Academy of Music. The accordion department at this renowned Copenhagen-based academic institution is celebrating its 50th anniversary this year, continuing a long history in the evolution of the accordion. When we think of Denmark, we of course think of the legacy of the late Mogens Ellegaard, who founded the accordion program in 1970. On today's show, we're very happy to welcome Geir to update us on the activities at the Academy and the accordion life in Denmark. Welcome, Geir.
Thank you so much, and thank you for letting me into this wonderful event you are making. So congratulations on that. I think in these bizarre times that the world is going through right now, it's important that we wave the accordion flag a little bit extra these days. So thanks so much for taking the effort.
Thank you very, very much.
Yeah, well, it's true. Now I've just been watching the German and the Dutch associations. They are obviously much older than us, so I suddenly feel a little bit like a youngster in this company.
It's a good feeling to have.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Just every now and then, just to go that way instead of the other way. Now it's of course a big event for us that we are turning 50 in the academic sense, that because I mean we are probably one of the oldest academic educations in the, at least in the north of Europe or in the world, I should say. We are amongst them for sure. And of course, as you mentioned, Kevin, the legacy of Mogens Ellegaard is of course huge here in Denmark. I mean, I don't think there's any, at least classical accordionist in the world, which doesn't know some of the pieces which he has initiated, like the toccatas from Ole Schmidt, Niels Viggo Benson in the zoo. There are so many. So it's very clear to me that, of course, when we are having this celebration, and we will turn 50 in the 2021 academic year, we will have to have a celebration, and he will, of course, also be credited a lot during this small festival, which is going to take place in 4 days, I believe. And I will talk, of course, quite a lot about his heritage and his life also during one evening there. So everybody is welcome to join that if you want to know more about Mogens Ellegaard.
Very, very
but as the present is in Copenhagen now, I mean, we have a quite big accordion class there. I think we are between 20 and 25 almost every year now. It's a lot of activity. If I'm going to again look a little bit on what has happened during these times from 1970, Mogens Ellegaard sadly passed away very early. He was only 60 years old in 1995. So he then made the first 25 years. So actually, I will then have the next 25 years, you might say, when we are looking at the autumn here. Many of these years I shared with my very, very good colleague, James Crabb, which is now not so far from you. He's living in Australia, in Sydney. He shall we call it, escaped for a better way of life in Australia instead of being in the quite cold north here. But to help me, I of course also have some assistants. We will listen to one of them later. That's Han Shi Wang from China, where she studied her master's and soloist degree here in Copenhagen, as well as Andreas Borregaard, which now is teaching in Oslo, and Bjarke Mogensen, of course, which is also a very important part of the teachers' crew here in Copenhagen. In addition to this, actually, I also use José Valente, which some of you might remember from, for instance, the Premio competition in Castelfidardo. Yeah, so he's also having a part in this teachers group. So we are quite many, and in addition to this, I also have Marie Hansen, which is doing the pedagogic part, which is also something which I look very seriously on and feel is very, very important to discuss. What direction is the accordion going in the future, and how can we, for instance, also get a little bit more put a step maybe in the classical world, also in accordion. You might say that
I have to interrupt. Sorry, it's very interesting.
Okay.
You've talked very well about all your students and things like this, but can we hear a bit about you? How you got into your academic position, of course, but your history with the accordion, your involvement with this repertoire.
I can start by the beginning, maybe, because it's pretty important for me. I come from a small village in Voss, in Norway, which is called Voss. Very beautiful place, by the way. Maybe only New Zealand can compete a little bit with Norway when it comes to things like this. But we can speak about that in the end of the session a little bit. But when I was a child, there was a fantastic pioneer and teacher in my hometown. His name was Olav Ullestad. And just to mention a little bit about the importance the accordion was established in my childhood. I come from up in the mountains. There was only 10 people in my class, I remember, in a kind of small school. 8 of these 10 at some point played the classical accordion. So, I mean, you were an outsider if you didn't play the accordion when I was a child. So for me, it was a kind of, shall we call it, natural path to follow. Or I thought it was fantastically fun with all the buttons and you know how I could use my fantasy by making music on accordion. And already when I was probably I met him already earlier, but I met Mogens Ellegaard. He came and he was a very good friend of my old teacher. He came and was teaching all these children every now and then during his very busy schedule otherwise. And I met him, I remember, the first time when I was 11. And I played a Scarlatti Sonata, I remember, which so many people before me and after me has done as well. And he was also very taken by my enthusiasm for the instrument. And I think already at that time, we both knew that I was going to study in Copenhagen, where I started then in 1986. And when I came to Copenhagen, there was already that at that time there was established some, shall we call it, Norwegian group of students on accordion. There were 3 people there before me, so I was not even the first one to go there. But I met very, very soon James, and we started playing together almost immediately. We had the same age, and he was just then one year ahead of me in his studies. But we always were very good friends, and that friendship and that collaboration brought me very many places in the world later on. But I mean, as the normal study is in Copenhagen, you would normally at that time you would have 4 years of what you today would call bachelor, then 2 years of master, which is still natural, and then a soloist class on top of that. I skipped a couple of these years. We don't need to go in details, but I finished my studies in 1992, and then for 3 years after this, I did only freelance musicianship, and then when Mogens sadly passed away there in '95, me and James started to teach. So that was sort of the entrance to the shall we call it the academic beginning for me. Nowadays, it's the number of students has been growing and growing, which I'm of course very happy about. So the last years has been kind of shall we call it very busy for me and also for some of my assistants. So it is a very big activity here. As for my own activity as a musician during all these years, since I finished at the academy, I could part it into 3. I could take it into 3 parts. When you finish your studies, I mean, you are as an accordionist, we are all lonely wolves, right? So we want to be soloists. So I did a lot of solo repertoire, and I also indicated to many composers, please write something for me, and that was mostly solo pieces the first years. Among pieces like this is for instance Tears by Bent Lorentzen, which was written for my debut concert. Wood Spirit by Staffan Mark. And there are many pieces which today is actually kind of.
It's our standard repertoire now. It's
yeah, it is.
very
Yeah, it's
important.
true. Yeah, it is. Then after these 10 years, of course, it overlaps somehow. But then I started to focus more on chamber music because I thought, okay, we need the instrument to be more inside the classical world somehow. That's what's from my point of view for sure. I think everybody thinks like that also, but I decided, okay, I'll do a little bit more concrete this. I had some projects, one with string quartet and one with guitar, so a duo. And then, of course, a lot with James for the next coming 10 years. After this period, and where I made also some recordings and a lot of new chamber music pieces, and of course also some solo things here and there. But then I started to focus on concertos, because I thought, what can I do for myself? What can I do for my students when they are going to go into the future world of music, to be able to actually make a living of being musicians in the music world. It's difficult with the shall we call it the narrow path of the accordion. I mean, there's not so much audience when you compare it with the classical world. And then I thought, okay, I would like to commission one concerto every year for 10 years. So I had a 10-year plan. And in this 10-year plan, there was many of these concertos I like a lot myself, but they are not so, shall we call it, well known, because I mean, it's still difficult, partly to organize a commission, partly to organize an orchestra. And if I want to documentate it somehow, to organize a CD recording and blah, blah, blah. But there is, in particular, two concertos, which I'm very proud of have been a part of the beginning. And it's Sofia Gubaidulina's Fachwerk, that's number one. And number two is Anatolius Shenderova's Ad Astra, which is for full symphony orchestra, but exists in a couple of other versions as well. But both these two pieces, I have been fantastically happy to be able to be a part of the construction of it, and very close relationship with the composers from the very beginning.
That's fantastic to hear. We have a extract from the that concerto, Ad Astra. It was written in 2008, yeah, I believe.
This is written in 2008, and this is actually a recording which was made for his 75th anniversary in 2015 with the Lithuanian Philharmonic. Sadly, he passed away last year. So, but having said that, there will be another premiere by him, because he composed also a triple concerto, originally for piano, violin, and cello. But he said very clearly, long time even before he passed away, that he really would like this to be a concerto that I should play as well. So we worked a little bit on it in the beginning. I will take the rest of the work, and it will be premiered, I think, in November. But this recording you're going to see now was a live TV recording, live radio, and live CD. No pressure at all, but that's how it was. And it was really a lot of fun, I have to say.
If you do one of them, you might as well do all of them, right?
Exactly.
So we'll have a listen to that, and then we'll come back and speak more about your collaboration with composers. So now we have a new guest. I'll let you introduce him, but let's speak really about the new works you're creating with new composers. We have a new guest. I'll let you introduce him, but
thank you very much. Yeah, it's a pleasure for me to introduce Martin Lose, which I suppose a lot of accordionists in the sort of classical sphere today have already heard about, even though he's still a young man, as we can see here, and but he started composing for the accordion very early. Shall we call it like so, Martin? And I don't know how many solo pieces you actually did for the accordion yet. You can maybe tell about that yourself. But personally, I've had the pleasure of working with you in a very big solo piece, which is called Seasons. That's the 4 seasons. That's not the 12. And which is still a little bit under construction. And then also a piece with Schengen accordion, which you called Fast Track some years ago. But I'm actually not the one which you have been collaborating most with. That's for sure Bjarke Mogensen. But maybe, and for Bjarke, you wrote these pieces for which is called Passing. For instance, I believe was some of the first pieces you did. You made a concerto for him. You've made some pieces for Han Ji-wang, and you've been very active about using this instrument both in chamber music and in solo. Can you maybe, as a start, Martin, just tell us a little bit about what is fascinating for you about the accordion?
Yes, hello. Yeah, it was. I think what I was very fascinated by is, of course, it's a very, very fast and agile instrument, even more agile and so on than the piano, and it can do so much. But it's at the same time, it's also one of the most lyrical instruments that I know. Just one tone can be so beautiful. Just one tone alone. So it has this room of possibilities that I thought was very inspiring, actually. And I met Bjarke Mogensen when he was still studying with you, Geir, at the conservatory, I think 12 years ago or something. And we became friends, and I really wanted to write pieces for him, because already there he was a wonderful musician already there. So, but it was very difficult for me to do it. I tried several times to do pieces, but they didn't work. So actually, I started by instrumentating one of my other works in liquid, which was for violin and piano, and then I recomposed it for accordion. And in this way, I learned some of all the stuff with accordion. But actually, it took some time before you could say I cracked the code with the accordion. It was extremely. It was when I actually with the first piece directly for accordion was this work Passing that we are going to hear a little bit later. And in this, I tried to. I wanted to make some music, and not only for accordion, but in my general compositions, I really want to do some music that's not just modernistic music, but has melody and the tonality and stuff like this. And I also wanted to write music for the accordion that wasn't, in a way, traditional modernistic accordion music, in a way. So in a way, it took some time to go there.
But certainly, Martin, you used these tools very well in the passings. Partly something very equilibristic in the first and the third. I think everybody which has tried to play these ones, they can relate to that. And in the second one is very, very beautiful and very, very long line melodies, and nothing really complex happening at all, except that you're always overlapping the melodies, of course, a little bit. But it's so you use the instrument from, shall we call it, some of the very strongest points.
Yeah,
I have to say as well that when you hear it, it doesn't sound like it's very difficult to play, and that's something wonderful in itself, that all these voices come out so clearly. And then when you look at the music, it's a different story.
I have had several accordionists has been after me because this music sounds not easy, but it's in a flow and stuff like this, and then sometimes it can be extremely difficult to play. And, and the accordionist wants it the other way around, but sorry. So well, that's
exactly.
It's tough when the people you're composing for are very, very, very good players. So you ask, can you do that? Yeah, of course they can.
Not of course, because that it was also difficult for them, of course. But when I have this wonderful musicians to write for, then why not use it? So.
So let's listen to this incredible piece. This is Passing. I think Hansi played this in Italy in one of her concerts.
Yeah, it's a live concert from Italy. Yeah.
Really, really beautiful work for the accordion. So could you speak a little bit more about the future projects, and hopefully they involve the accordion?
Yes. Yeah, I still work closely with Bjarke. So we are hopefully it's going to be a concert later on for him, and we are thinking about actually accordion and viola and orchestra.
Wow.
Hopefully, it's we need to find somebody to play it. To take part of it, so it's always a little bit difficult.
I'm sure there's people who are watching.
Yes,
gonna push to get this played, definitely.
Yeah. So and then I also work with Gaia. Hopefully we'll have some projects also in the future, with different stuff we are working on. So yeah, so that's
fantastic. Thank you very, very much for that. That's really great. So Gaia, we just saw obviously Hansi, who's a past student, now one of your assistant teachers. Could you speak a little bit about how you prepare a student from their bachelor and masters and get them to jump from studying level into a professional life as a musician?
Yeah, the very simple answer is, of course, you have to be better than the rest. I mean, and now I'm not even speaking about the accordionist, I'm speaking about other musicians, especially the ones which I see has a potential to make a move into the classical music world, and not only dipping their toes there, which many accordionists are doing by all means, but actually to stay there. I have this kind of percentage number that you have to be 30% better than the rest, because then you will be unequal, because the accordion is not always the most popular instrument, or it's not the most natural instrument you would see in the classical circles. But having said that, that's more a popular way of putting it. Having said that, first of all, I should maybe mention that we do have a postgraduate study at the Academy in Copenhagen, which is we call soloist class, but it's a study where you can, how shall I put it, make development on your own skills with hopefully then good teachers, and it is not on a third cycle grade like a doctoral study, for instance. So it is something which you can actually use all your time of, just getting better to perform. And she has been there, of course, Bjarke and many people, not many, because it's difficult to get into that one, because we have to compete with all the instruments, of course. But that's a good step, because then you can, instead of thinking about master projects or whatever, you actually can dedicate all your time just to, peak your performances and have good input on that. That's one thing. And then, of course, I mean, it is quite logical for everybody in the accordion world that we do need to have this chamber music element in when we are thinking that we should not only make careers, but have a possibility to come into some circles where we can make a living of our playing. This is a big issue, of course, for many of my students and many students around the world. How do we do this? And then we can say, of course, that there are different directions one can go. Bjarke, for instance, has been in Denmark competing a lot with other instrumentalists already from when he was a child and onwards. So we always compare ourselves with other instrumentalists, and he has been very very successful in doing that. So in Denmark, he is a very, very big name in the music circles, not only in the accordion circles at all. And just to mention a little bit Denmark in this case, as how the accordion has an impact on the music life. Like everybody else or every other country, we have a Grammy. In Denmark, it's so that it's only 3 nominations on each group. That's for the best record, for the best foreign record, and for the best contemporary record. I think it was in 2018, not last year, but the year before. two of these 9 nominees were Accordion records. That was Bjarke, and it was Hanshi for her contemporary works with, amongst other, Martin's pieces.
And that was
Bjarke
the
won
whole year. Every
That's
record.
for the whole year. It
Wow.
it was only 9 records nominated during for all categories, and 2 of them were Accordion records. And Bjarke, he won, of course, then the public prize. As I said, he's very popular in Denmark. So actually, he got an extra prize for that, you might say. So that just shows a little bit how we try to not infiltrate. That sounds a little bit too much CIA.
Maybe to the mainstream markets.
Yeah, how to be a part of this life where you can play a lot. Instead of as I said, the little bit narrow path of accordion, especially in Denmark, it is so. I have to say a secret, don't tell anybody, but I mean, Denmark has probably the worst the worst folk music in the world. At least it's not very popular in the population compared to, for instance, Norway, Sweden, Russia, Finland, Germany, everywhere around. It's very, very popular, but in Denmark, not so much. So actually, it's not so big path to go for us. So maybe we actually just needed to somehow look at different directions and how to make our life as a musician. So I have to say that probably in Copenhagen, or in the area of Copenhagen, is living like 5 or 6 accordionist freelance musicians, which is doing different kind of projects. Of course, contemporary music is important. Of course, chamber music is important, but just they are always trying to find their way somehow. So maybe my biggest task is to make the students think innovative. What can I do? What are the possibilities? Instead of thinking about limitations. And then, of course, there are different areas. Hanshi, for instance, she's very, very popular in America now, plays with a lot of the orchestras, and she has been under this management, which is really supporting her a lot, and she's performing all over the States. I see a man like Andreas Borgård, which is now also in Oslo, is doing a PhD there, but also teaching there, does a lot of these performance things. We have Frode Andersen in Denmark, which is almost my generation, but Horst has always just been a freelance accordionist there, and mostly doing, shall we call it, really contemporary freaky stuff. So it's about finding possibilities and being better than the rest.
I think it's also leading by example. We'll see a video of you with baritone, which is very, very wonderful. But before we do that, I'd just like to thank you, Martin, for joining us. This has been a wonderful privilege to meet you after hearing your music at our competitions. It's really good to see you.
Thank you.
Thank you. It was a pleasure to be here. Yes.
Fremd bin ich eingezogen, fremd zieh ich wieder aus. Der Mai war mir gewogen mit manchem Blumenstrauß. Das Mädchen sprach von Liebe, die Mutter gar von ihm. Das Mädchen sprach von Liebe, die Mutter gar von ihm. Die kalten Winde bliesen mir grad ins Angesicht. Der Hut flog mir vom Kopfe, ich wendete Wunderliches Tier, willst mich nicht verlassen, meinst du? Ach, und fällt das Blatt zu Boden, fällt mit ihm die Hoffnung ab. Fall dich selber mit zu Boden. Wein, Wein auf meine Hoffnung grab. Wein, Wein auf meiner Hoffnung grab. Drüben hinterm Dorfe steht ein Leiermann. Und mit starren Fingern dreht was kann. Barfuß auf dem Eise wankt hin und her. Und sein kleiner Teller bleibt ihm immer leer. Und sein kleiner Teller bleibt ihm immer leer. Keiner mag ihn hören, keiner sieht ihn an. Und die Hunde knurren um den alten Mann. Und lässt es gehen, alles wie es will. Dreht und seine Leier steht ihm nimmer still. Dreht und seine Leier steht ihm nimmer still. Wunderlicher Alter, soll ich mit dir gehen? Willst du meinen Liedern deine Leier drehen?
incredible. Just not only the music, but the video, the presentation. It's something fantastic.
Thank you very much. This was actually Christian's idea to make with accordion. I mean, he's a world-class artist. He doesn't need the accordion, but he thought he would like to try out some different, not necessarily sounds, but just different physical possibilities. We could walk a little bit around and things like this. So that is in the process, but this video was made as a kind of demo for the whole project. So it's also one of the things which I mentioned before. It's very, very important for me to do chamber music, because it's maybe the way of making music which I like the most. You can, and especially with a singer, you can breathe a lot, which the accordion can also. Yeah. Which if we're going to round off now, then I'll say something about maybe that in from my point of view, then the future of the accordion lies with the next generations. So far in the academic world, now we are 50 years old, right? In Copenhagen, it's only really been going one way, and that's upwards. So, I mean, the students today are much more advanced, and they're much more better sort of schooled than they used to be in my generation. And this is going to continue. And that's why I think it's very, very important that we are trying to establish some, shall we call it, platforms where the young people can find out that they are not alone. Again, the lonely wolves thing. We need to gather people. Vincent was talking about it in Holland. Fantastic idea about the summer seminar. And I just, in the end, I would like to mention that I also, together with another ex-student of mine, Ida Løvli Hidle from Norway, we have established a festival in Norway called Accordion. And it's a summer festival, so no worries. And there's nothing linked with Winterreise at all, which we just heard. So it's in very beautiful area of my hometown, Voss, in Norway, and everybody should come and visit. Of course, I would love to do that. Unfortunately, this year it's not going to happen due to the virus. We have had under this festival, we've had a seminar for young accordionists. The reason why we made this was to find a platform where we could gather the Scandinavian young accordionists to have, you know, a week together with very, very high class of lecturers, and at the same time having the possibility to perform a little bit and then listen to world-class artists. So the first year we had Miki there. It was a great pleasure. Last year we had Matti Rantanen and we had Friedrich Lips. Equally, of course, a great festival and seminar. And this year we were supposed to have Richard Galliano, and we would have also Claudio Iacobucci as both performer and teacher. Now everything is postponed until next year, but it will be the same program. So everybody should be very welcome to shall we call it, join the Norwegian and the Scandinavian accordionists, the young ones there, to have a good time during 1 week. So I think it's important that we establish all these possibilities for future generations as well.
Absolutely.
Great. Absolutely. Well, on behalf of Grayson and I, we'd like to say thank you very much to you, Gear, and also Martin, for this fascinating look into the accordion world in Denmark, and obviously from your recent comments, the influence it has throughout Greater Scandinavia. And along with Grayson, I have to say it was a magnificent performance of the Schubert's Winterreise, so congratulations on that project. So we wish you continued success and congratulations on the 50th anniversary of the accordion at the Royal Danish Academy of Music. Thank you, Gear.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
And we'd like to continue with another video from one of our winners, the winner of the Master Category 2014, Wenyi Wu from China, performing Bichun Mobile by Zabitsky.
Hey guys, I'm Wenyi Wu, come from China. Now I teach in Conservatory of Music Zhejiang. My school is in Hangzhou, a very famous city in China. There is lake and mountain, and everyone know here. The city is famous of all of the world. In 2014, I won the first prize in Salzburg in Master Cooper. I was so proud of this. And after the competition, I always go on, and never stop to play accordion. I'm very proud of I was one of the accordion family. I meet you, all of you, so much.
And welcome back. Our final guest this evening is our CIA Premier member from Estonia, the Estonian Accordion Society. Founded in 1994, they were a recent host of our CIA Winter Congress. Today, we're happy to welcome Miik Langeproon, a board member of the Estonian Accordion Society. I know you have a lot of exciting information to share with us this evening, so Miik, we'll hand it over to you.
Yes, thanks, and it's a pleasure to be here, and also thank you for the previous interesting presentations and all the lovely accordion music. And yeah, we have been in the CIA quite long time already, and we hosted also the Winter Congress in Tallinn in 2019. And I think it was a huge thing for us and a great pleasure. But first, I would like to speak a little bit more about the Accordion Association in Estonia. And we have basically 70 active members, which is actually quite a big deal for such a small country, I think. And the president of our organization is Kristel Laas and vice president Aivi Tilk. And basically our organization is organizing events, seminars, masterclasses. We had Yuri Shishkin from Russia, Mika Väurunen, Matti Rantanen, Mikko Looma from Finland. And for example, last time we organized a tango seminar for teachers by our own Kaspar Uljas, who is basically the first bandoneon player in Estonia. So it's new developments coming from there also. And not to mention international cooperation with CIA, which is also quite a big thing for us. And because today we are gonna talk more about the history of Estonian accordion and all the activities. So I would like to present a book first, because now all the concerts are cancelled, and sometimes you don't have motivation to practice, so you can read a book. And the book is called Accordionimäng Eestis. It's mostly written in Estonian. By Tiina Välja in 2008, but it has actually half of the book is basically an English summary, so everybody can read. You don't need to know any Estonian for that. And yeah, Tiina Välja was actually one of the persons who took accordion to the higher education also in Estonia, and it was 2002. So because we heard previous performances about university possibilities nowadays. So in Estonia also, it's soon celebrating 20 years of accordion education now. And there is, let's say, 4 categories to study. One is interpretation for classical music, then pedagogy, folk music, and the jazz, of course. And yeah, this book is actually, because it's written 2008, so it will cover everything in this topic that happened before us or our time or the present time, because today we're gonna talk about today and all the activities that is happening now in Estonia. And we made actually quite a nice video for World Accordion Day with our association about accordionists in Estonia, and it would be nice to watch it with you today.
And welcome back. So I think, Meek, you might want to also join with me in acknowledging that one of the players in the video there was Tiet Kalust, who was the winner of our CIA Merit Award.
Yes, exactly. The last performance in this completion, it was Tiet Kalust playing, and it was actually quite a good story with the Merit Award that the General Secretary of CIA made a surprise visit to Estonia during his concert, and he gave this award in the end of the concert in front of all the audience, and it was a big thing.
Wow,
and
that's
I think he's the first Estonian to get this prestigious award. So
great, and the Merit Award is recognizing outstanding contributions to the international accordion movement. So well deserved for Tiet. So now, as we continue on, maybe you'd like to tell us a little bit about your national competitions and the best young musician and the other competitions you have.
Yes, why not? The most important competition for every children in Estonia is the best young musician, as you mentioned, and there is it's meant for different instruments, and also accordion is there, and it's held every second year. And now there is a tradition by Estonian Accordion Society to commission the test pieces for the competition. So every year there will be a lot of new program for the children, and some pieces are actually quite good, and they stay through the time. So it's very, very good, I think. And then now it's very appropriate to speak about during this Corona time to speak about one other competition that we have. It's called Estonian Accordion Stars, and it's actually a video competition. So we were actually ahead of this time. We knew that something is going to happen, and we need to have this video competition. And this is then every other year. One year there is best young musician, and then the year between there is this video competition. It's actually now second time we had this. And this is going quite well. And then there is another third competition for Estonian musicians between 15 and 25 years. And it's actually in TV called Classical Idols. And this has promoted accordion quite a bit. For example, 2014, there was Henry Tsibo, who was also in the completion video, and he actually got the second place there among all other instrumentalists, and this was huge popularity for accordion. And also 2016, I had a chance to perform there, and this competition is actually quite funny, because there is every week there is one task for the musicians. For example, you have to make audio to the film, and you have to play something together with another art form, like painting or whatever. And there is also a little video I would like to show you. There is this stage was called Meeting a Superstar, and you were literally meeting her live on stage, and you had to perform a piece you learned during 1 week, and you never rehearsed, just your own part. And actually I haven't seen her since then, and I never met her before, so it was really live. Yeah,
I've never heard of anything like that. And this is on national TV.
Yeah, it's on national TV, and I think this idea of that it makes more drama. So it's.
How do you feel to do that? You have 1 week to prepare, and you have no idea what will happen.
Yeah, I was a little nervous because everything can happen when you don't rehearse. But then she told me that just keep the tempo and we will survive. So we could switch some words before only. Yeah.
So this was with Oksana Sinkova.
Yeah, exactly. The flute player from Estonia.
So I imagine that was one experience. Wow, that's incredible. So 1 week, no time to practice, just go on stage, meet your partner, and have to play. That's a great challenge for a competition.
Yeah, and actually, I think nowadays some concerts will also be because people can't meet in Estonia, and they somehow have to do Facebook Live concerts, for example, and it's a good skill to have to play with somebody with no practicing.
Yeah, we have to adapt like this.
But yeah, now I think it's very nice to during this difficult time to watch old movies and old performances, and maybe we can go to the new works that has written in Estonia. And Geir Draugsvoll before mentioned a piece for solo accordion called Seasons, and it's a funny thing that in different places of the world, in Estonia also, a composer called Alo Põldmäe has written a piece for solo accordion called Seasons, but I hope they are different pieces. So anyway, this was one of the concerts that was cancelled during the Corona time, and Ivy Tilk and Henry Tsibo cooperated with the composer. But I think this will be performed in the autumn this year. So it's kind of postponed just. And then in the future, there is also upcoming a contemporary opera where is 5 accordionists and 5 singers. So it's kind of interesting group there, and it will be performed or premiered then 2021 in May. But for myself, the very important new work is, and it was also my last concert before the crisis. It's a concerto for accordion and chamber orchestra by Tauno Ants. He's a very known composer in Estonia, and he has done many opera commissions and such things, and we waited quite long for this concerto by him, and now it finally came, and it has 3 movements, and it would be nice to show everyone this a little excerpt from this
concerto. We
concerto.
have an extract from this concerto.
Yeah, exactly.
So that was an extract from the Concerto for Accordion and Chamber Orchestra by T. Ants, the Helsinki Chamber Orchestra. So what can you tell us about the next projects, accordion courses, and things like this in Estonia?
Yeah, there are many things happening all the time, but now it's we don't know what will happen and what will not happen, because there are some restrictions with this crisis. But for example, one thing to look forward is an accordion camp in the island of Kihnu, and it's happening every summer in the middle of July or something like that. And this is meant mostly for students, and there is ensemble playing, open air concert, and very much things, likable things in this island. And then there is another festival called Võru Accordion Music Days. This is held every second year in June. Not this year, so it's past the crisis. It's good in that way. And also in Pärnu, there is accordion music festival in autumn. There is also a competition, international competition, so feel free to come, everyone. And there is also the biggest festival in Estonia. It's not only accordion festival, but it's called Song Festival, and it's historically very important to Estonians because we got independence through this, and it's very important to every Estonian. And there is basically tens of thousands singers singing at the same time. And there is also some years now, there is also a dance music festival and folk music festival. So this folk music festival is meant for instrumentalists. And also there is accordion section. And last summer there was accordion section which was conducted by Kristel Laas, the head of our association. And this is for accordionists, there was like 70 accordionists, I think, playing at the same time. So it's also quite big orchestra, especially when you consider Estonia, which is quite small country. So it's in that sense it's good. And in this big song festival, there was also a performance this year with accordion soloists, and I hope we can watch it in the end of this video or this presentation. And there was a female choir. I saw some comments for the show today that they are looking for more female performances today. So now they will get the...
They're going to find him, I think.
Yes.
So thank you very much, Meek, for joining us. Before we take a look at this video, we'd just like to say we're so happy to have you with us tonight. And thanks for giving us that amazing overview of the accordion activities in Estonia. We send our best regards to all our friends at the Estonian Accordion Society, and we look forward to seeing you all very soon. So now to conclude our presentation from Estonia, we're going to have this video from the 27th Song Festival. So thanks again, Meek, and good night.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Thank you. And welcome back. We thank you very much for joining us today, the second of our 4 World Accordion Day project broadcasts. We thank all our guests, and the next show will be on Saturday, the 23rd of May, the day that the May 6th accordion patent was actually formally approved. We'll feature several of our member associations, as well as information about some other CIA activities. We invite you to visit worldaccordionday.com for our scheduled start times, guest lists, and replays of all the episodes. I'll pass you back to Grayson now, who will introduce the final video. So thanks again for joining us, and happy continued celebration of World Accordion Day.
To finish our broadcast tonight, I'd like to thank the CIA for providing the platform to promote our associations and our Coupe Mondiale winners. It's a real pleasure to see how they have transformed and developed from world champions into world-renowned concert artists, teachers, and academics. Thank you very much for watching, and see you on May 23rd. We're leaving you with the winners of the International Ensemble 2018 in World Music, the Pillar Brothers, performing their arrangements of Russian variations. Have a good night.
Happy World Accordion Day
to your big accordion family.
This is my brother Daniel, and I am Darko Pilar. I am 24 and Daniel is 25 years old.
In 2018 we won Coupe Mondiale in Lithuanian, Kaunas in category World Music.
The winners, the pillars. Since then we are been invited to play concerts worldwide.
For example, we have played in Serbia with Serbian Philharmonic.
In Sweden.
Then was Finland, one of the most biggest accordion festival, Baltic Princess.
Yes.
That was in Germany, France, Japan, Osaka.
Russia.
Yes, right. Then was
in Austria.
Yes, in February.
The biggest opera ball.
Yes, in the world.
Yes.
And we have played and won, and the biggest hall in all Austria. We have played every week. Yes, and we are very
happy
because that we have so many concerts.
To become the winners of many international competitions as well as CA Coupe Mondiale.
Help us a lot to express and share your musical ideas, to meet interesting musicians and professors from different countries.
And beautiful friendship.
We wish to all of you
a beautiful World
Accordion Day.